Good morning from Seattle, Washington, and welcome to Coffee and Cosmos with Robin. My name is Robin Fritz, and today I want to talk a little bit with you about horses, healing, and what that means for us. And I am tapping a bit into my radio show this afternoon called Lessons from the Horse Healers. And we'll talk a little bit about that. We're going to do a meditation with Fallon. And if you have questions, something you'd like me to take a look at, or like the community to take a look at with you, please go ahead and type that in the comment section and say hello from wherever you are. So good morning again, at least morning here in Seattle, Washington. And let's get started. Here is the crystal Fallon. Fallon is citrine Lemurian quartz. And let's get grounded and balanced here together with each other at this time. So if you imagine that you're tapping into your strongest intuitive ability, use that to connect with Fallon and thereby with all of us in community. And then bring your attention to the top of your head. And we're just going to breathe down our body as we do every week, down from the top of our head to our toes and back up again. And what that does is help just release the cares of the day and help you get grounded and balanced here in this time with us. So breathing down from the top of your head, down your face, your shoulders, your chest, your hips, your knees, and your feet. The top of your head to the bottom of your feet. And then reversing that up from your feet, past your knees, your hips, your chest, your shoulders, your face, and the top of your head. And just imagine that you will be able to feel this in one way, however your intuition works most strongly, that there's a gold light that comes from Fallon, goes straight to your heart, and with each beat of your heart floods your body with healthy energy. It's awesome. And yes, you do experience that. So take a good look there. And oh, he's really heavy. So put him down. But again, welcome to Coffee and Cosmos with Robin. My name is Robin Fritz. I'm an intuitive and spiritual consultant and a certified past life regression specialist. And my worldwide practice is based here in Seattle, Washington. And I want to thank you for joining us today. It is my great privilege to be here with you every week and to share some ideas, to ask about your ideas and what you're thinking and what you're looking at. So if you have comments on today's broadcast or comments on something you'd like us to cover here and talk about in future broadcasts, please bring it up. Or if you have something you'd like me to look at with you today, please bring that up too. We'll see if I can scroll down and see your comments at the same time as I'm chatting with you briefly. So today, this afternoon on my radio show, I love doing this podcast at OMTimes.com radio. It airs the first and third Mondays of the month, OMTimes.com radio, and the show is the Practical Intuitive Mind, Body, Spirit for the Real World, 2 p.m. Pacific time, 5 Eastern. Today's show is pre-recorded because I have a whole bunch of work I have to go do this afternoon out in about the city of Seattle, and couldn't be changed. And but the show is very special to me, so we recorded it on Friday, and it talks about horses and healing. And I invite you to listen to that because it gives you my whole experience meeting non-humans in the work that they do. And I wanted to share a little bit with you here today because, most of us at one time or another, and maybe a lot of the time, we feel like we're alone in the world and we feel disconnected and we feel like we don't have enough friends or family or that people don't understand us. And that all comes down to self-love. And I recognize that it's my biggest lesson to learn. And I think it is for all of us, alive or dead, learning to love ourselves. But part of that love of ourselves also is reaching out and allowing that love to permeate the world like yeast makes bread dough rise, right? And allowing that connection to go out and to reach other people, and therefore to create community. And sometimes when we're out there looking at the world and seeing everything that seems to be going wrong, thank you, Jessica, for chiming in here. Sometimes we think everything's going wrong in the world, and but even our news tries to give us good stories, cool stories of people who are contributing in their own way. And one of the things that I can bring to the table is my conversations and my interactions with non-humans. And I've been doing this for many years and talking and working with things most of us don't think are sentient, including hurricanes and earthquakes in our homes and our businesses. And sometimes even the trees, or even some people don't even think animals are really on the level that we are. But the reality in my experience is that everything is equal to us. Everything has a soul, has consciousness, has a job to do, a choice about doing that job, and opinions. And I've loved horses since I was a little girl. And the show this afternoon will tell you how I met the horse healers. But let me briefly describe that to you and what I think it means for us here today in community. What I discovered in looking at horses who had been severely injured and then going to look at them intuitively, which is, the thing that I do in my business, I discovered that horses are this gigantic community of healers, and they may be in bodies or they may not be in bodies, but when one of them is hurt, when one of them is making a decision to live or die, the horses gather in community and create a circle around them. And if you, I don't know very much about sacred geometry, but about circles. Circles are forever. I mean, they just go around and around. There's no end to them. And that energy of the circle, just like the energy of Fallon and the crystal ball, as much as Fallon and I were like dubious about him having been carved into a crystal ball, that energy is circular. It does go around, and it does create the power of the circular connection. And these horses weren't making judgments on each other. They weren't making judgments on what happened to the horse in the center of the circle. They were just there offering healing and compassion and love. And they were singing a one-note song, harmony, if you will, that was suspending this injured horse while that horse was making a decision to live or die. Now, if you tune in this afternoon, you'll hear more about the horse healers. But what I wanted to share with you today is, well, first of all, I was just amazed and awed at what I was seeing, and that I felt like I shouldn't have been there. I went there accidentally, which, if you know me, I go to a lot of places accidentally. That's just what happens. And I'm going to check in and make sure. Yeah, my sound is up. But what they asked me to do was to bear witness. And to me, that's serious. That means taking that story out into the world. And for us today, it's looking at each other and how we come together in community, and what is the love and the support and the healing that we offer to each other. If you've listened to any of my broadcasts in the past, and today again I'll repeat, we are all innately intuitives and healers. We all have the ability in us to use our intuition and to use our healing. It helps if we go to someone, who's like a energy master or a professional intuitive, just like you'd go to a doctor or a lawyer or a carpenter, or in my case tomorrow, the mechanic for my car. People who specialize in certain things. But we all, to get along in our daily life, have these abilities, and we don't think about tapping into them. And we think even less about tapping into the power of community. So I'm just inviting you today to just pause for a moment today with me and think, how do we connect with each other in community? This place here where we talk each week and where other people come onto Humanity Healing's page and share their thoughts of the week with you, their teachings or whatever it is. We all come together in this little community. But what this community does in coming together here, this is an energetic connection, and each of us can then become part of a community of compassion and offering healing to each other. So I want, today's broadcast is short, but I wanted to just share with you how important it is for us to recognize that we are not alone and that each one of us matters, that you matter. And if you ever doubt that, do the self-healing, cross your hands on your heart and invite that energy that is in you and the energy of the universe to create that healing and compassion, and to remind you that loving yourself first is the most important thing we can do, because it's when we're in the process of helping ourselves to heal that we can turn and help the people around us, our friends and our family, our community, and then all of us who share together in a larger community called the planet Earth, right? So we are all here on the planet learning to grow in love. And what we forget is other beings are going about doing that every day. And my lesson in seeing the healers, the horses, gather around and hearing them say, we do this for all of them. The amazing energy that was invoked and used in that situation is very humbling. And I hope it makes you think a little bit about how we go about doing energy healing on our own. There are lots of systems out there, Reiki, natural force healing, healing touch, or whatever. There's a lot of names on them. And there are methodologies of going about energy healing. I'm not discounting them. I've learned Reiki. In essence, they call me like a level 3 Reiki practitioner or whatever. Didn't want to be a Reiki master. But humans put systems on things like energy. And one of the reasons we do that, I mean, besides the obvious reason of making money or creating a system, is to help us get into the frame of mind where we can go through something and have it become natural. So humans need a lot of direction, and we need a lot of symbols to use, and we need procedures, because that helps us get out of the way of our heads, right? Our heads are always thinking and re-examining and thinking, okay, is this real or not? And the reality is you have these abilities right here in the palms of your hands and your whole body, really, to offer healing to the world, not to force it on anything, but to simply offer it. And we do that when we gather here in community. So I hope it gives you some idea today of how you matter and how your natural healing abilities matter, and that other beings out there are doing their own form of energy healing. It comes naturally to them. It's part of who they are. And we as humans have kind of get messed up and forget that in our daily conflicts and our busy daily lives. Come back together, come to center, come here in this group. And remember that we are innately able to offer healing to ourselves and to learn from other beings, to learn from non-humans how they do their healing and how we can join in with them as equals to help the world be its best, to help ourselves be its best, to just be that yeast in the bread dough. Let me see if there are any questions here, but I thank everyone for chiming in. Okay. Okay, Jessica from Pembroke Pines, Florida. Sorry, that's a tongue twister for me this morning. Nora says she has a beautiful horse with lots of spunk, a good bond, and yes. Oh, you're so lucky. I wanted a horse from the time I was a little girl, and the reality is too much work for me. And I enjoy watching other people enjoy their animals. But thanks for sharing that with us, Norma. That's awesome. And they do give lots of love. And Carrie's saying, yes, sound is good. And that one note that the horses were humming was literally holding this injured horse. His name was Barbaro. He was a racehorse, while he was deciding whether to live or die. So that energy healing is not restricted to horses or restricted to humans. And one of the things I learned there is how much more advanced their healing abilities are than ours, and not because they're better or we're lesser, but because they just do it. They just step in and do it, and they've created community. And I hope that gives us some hope for us being able to create community and sending out the bonds of love and compassion that bring us together. There's so many things that can tear us apart in this world. And this place here where we can share is one of those places where we offer that compassion and connection to the world that matters to it and to us. So I want to thank you for sharing that and sharing this time with me today. And each week I do a crystal of the week to tap into the theme of today's topic. But today I'm going to offer Fallon for those of you who don't have a crystal next to you. But if you have any crystals around you, this is your opportunity to reach out and intuitively connect to a crystal and take that information that we were talking about of all life being equal, all life being willing to communicate with us, and recognizing how different beings like horses take care of each other. And invite the crystal that's right next to you to connect with you as a friend, as an equal, as a partner. And spend some time after the broadcast just sitting with it. And your intuition may run towards seeing, hearing, feeling, or knowing, eventually a combination of all of those for most of us. See what you get from that crystal by just inviting it to share with you. A lot of times, we don't realize how much is out there and willing to connect with us because we don't think of anything else as being sentient or intelligent besides humans. And we know better than that. So do that little experiment and then come back next week and share that with us all. But for now, I want to thank you for joining with us. If you like these broadcasts, please like the Ohm Times pages, the Humanity Healing page, go to my business Facebook page, the Practical Intuitive Robin M. Fritz, and like all those pages. If you have questions or comments or an idea for a subject to cover in the future, please share that with me on my Facebook page. Love to hear it. I try to go back in here and respond to people's comments each week, but I can do a lot of things, but technology isn't one of my best things, and I can't always get back into the broadcast to share with people. But tune into my radio show this afternoon. I love being part of the Ohm Times community, the Practical Intuitive Mind, Body, Spirit for the Real World. Today's show, Lessons from the Horse Healers, it's at 2 Pacific Time, 5 Eastern. And if you would like to work with me, go to my website, robinfritz.com. I offer personal and business intuition, mediumship, space clearing, animal communication, past life and between life regression, and really soul connection, spiritual journeys. My work is to help you be your best in the world. And please remember how important you are to the community and to the world. Go out there and start your healing practice on yourself right now. Cross your hands on your heart and breathe in to the palms of your hands and imagine you're breathing in healthy energy. And as you exhale, just let go of your doubts and your lack of belief sometimes in ourselves and just breathe in that healthy energy. Practice that. Come back next week and share what you've learned. Take care. Thanks for joining me. And bye.